Neutropenic fever, also known as febrile neutropenia, is a condition that occurs when neutropenia is accompanied by a fever. Neutropenia is defined as an absolute neutrophil count of less than 1,500 cells per microliter. The risk of infection increases significantly with severe neutropenia, which is defined as an absolute neutrophil count below 500 cells per microliter. Profound neutropenia occurs when the absolute neutrophil count is less than 100 cells per microliter. Fever is defined as a single oral temperature greater than or equal to 101 degrees Fahrenheit, or 38.3 degrees Celsius, or a sustained temperature greater than or equal to 100.4 degrees Fahrenheit, or 38 degrees Celsius, for at least 1 hour. In most cases of neutropenic fever, the infectious cause cannot be identified and is labeled as a fever of unknown origin. Neutropenic fever is considered a medical emergency because the reduced number of neutrophils compromises the immune system's ability to fight infections. Morbidity and mortality depend on the severity and duration of neutropenia. Etiology and risk factors. Chemotherapy is a common cause of neutropenic fever. Many chemotherapy medications destroy tumor cells but also affect normal blood cell production, leading to myelosuppression and neutrophil destruction. If the neutrophil count decreases, the chemotherapy dosage may require reduction or delay, which can affect prognosis. Other causes of neutropenia include congenital neutropenia, which is suspected in adults with severe neutropenia, defined as an absolute neutrophil count of less than 500 cells per microliter, and a history of somatic findings. Certain medications, including antibiotics, anti-inflammatory drugs, psychotropic drugs, antithyroid drugs, and cardiovascular drugs, can also cause neutropenia. Nutritional deficiencies such as severe vitamin B12, folate, or copper deficiency are additional causes. Significant risk factors for developing febrile neutropenia include older age, comorbidities, the specific cancer type, and the use of myelosuppressive chemotherapy agents. People with myeloid and hematologic cancers such as leukemia are at high risk for neutropenic fever. Symptoms and clinical presentation. In the presence of neutropenia, the usual signs and symptoms of infection may be reduced or absent. Often, fever is the only reliable symptom. Other signs and symptoms can include abdominal pain, mucositis of the gastrointestinal tract, and perirectal pain. Some individuals may develop complications like severe sepsis or septic shock. Symptoms of these complications may include tachycardia, confusion, shortness of breath, oliguria, and shivering. Diagnosis and evaluation. Diagnosis involves evaluating clinical presentation, including fever duration and additional symptoms, determining possible infection sites, and identifying causative pathogens. Medical history review should include recent antibiotic therapy, surgery, invasive procedures, past infections, and potential exposure to infected individuals, pets, plants, or contaminated foods. Any potential pathogen entry points should be examined, including the skin, mucous membranes, gastrointestinal tract, urinary tract, and intravenous catheters or line sites. Laboratory tests and cultures help determine causative pathogens. Tests include a complete blood count and differential white cell count to determine neutropenia severity. Cultures may involve blood culture sets, urinalysis, and cultures from other possible infection sites, such as stool, sputum, or nasal swab. Chest X-rays are also important, and additional imaging studies like CT scans may be needed depending on the clinical presentation. Additional tests that may be required in some instances include galactomannan, which may be performed on patient serum or bronchoalveolar lavage samples as a diagnostic biomarker of fungal infections. 1,3-beta-D-glucan is a fungal-specific cell wall component that may serve as a diagnostic biomarker of fungal infections. Procalcitonin may have moderate diagnostic accuracy for bacteremia detection in patients with sepsis. Risk assessment. Individuals with neutropenic fever should be evaluated to determine their risk of developing medical complications, such as severe sepsis or septic shock. The Multinational Association of Supportive Care in Cancer, MASCC, Risk Index, is a clinical practice guideline used to identify the risk of medical complications in patients with chemotherapy-induced neutropenia. A MASCC score of 21 points or higher is considered low risk, while a score of 20 or lower indicates high risk for morbidity and mortality. The Clinical Index of Stable Febrile Neutropenia, CISNE, is another tool that can help risk stratify patients. Treatment and management. Treatment begins with immediate evaluation, risk assessment for complications, and blood cultures to find the causative bacteria. Individuals then receive broad-spectrum empiric antibiotic therapy. Low-risk patients commonly receive oral antibiotics, while high-risk patients generally receive intravenous antibiotics. The Infectious Disease Society of America recommends monotherapy with antipseudomonal beta-lactam agents such as cefepime, carbapenems, or piperacillin-tazobactam for high-risk patients. Vancomycin is not recommended for initial therapy but should be considered if suspecting catheter-related infection, skin or soft tissue infections, pneumonia, or hemodynamic instability. Empiric antifungal coverage is advised in high-risk patients with persistent fever after 4 to 7 days of a broad-spectrum antibacterial regimen and suspicion of fungal infection. Prevention. Preventing neutropenic fever begins by limiting exposure to opportunistic pathogens. Measures include daily baths, oral hygiene, routine inspection of the skin and other entry points, cleaning and cooking food well, and avoiding contact with pets, plants, and visitors with active infections. With hospitalized patients, healthcare workers and caregivers should practice standard precautions, including regular hand hygiene and utilizing personal protective equipment, and limiting skin breaks or injury by avoiding rectal thermometers, enemas, suppositories, digital rectal examinations, and invasive procedures. Additional measures can involve preventive therapy with colony-stimulating factors that stimulate the bone marrow to increase white blood cell production. The National Comprehensive Cancer Network guidelines recommend that patients at high risk of neutropenic fever can benefit from granulocyte colony-stimulating factors. Certain chemotherapy treatments are known to have a higher risk of febrile neutropenia than others. When these higher-risk treatments are administered, giving an injection of a colony-stimulating factors might prevent febrile neutropenia or shorten the number of days a patient has neutropenia and is thus at risk for febrile neutropenia. Importantly, while these medications may reduce the rate of febrile neutropenia, patients can still have febrile neutropenia and should report any fevers to their doctors even if they have received such growth factors.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to our channel by clicking the subscription button. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below in the comments section.